Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be looking at this standard Rook Endgame. This has happened in many games. It could very well happen in your game, so good to know it. Also, there are some very interesting ideas behind this position. So, first of all, White is trying to break through here. I would first of all recommend you to pause the video and try to come up with the way how you would make progress. Okay, so of course, Black's idea is to, play with these frontal defenses. Kind of on the move King F4, there's going to be this check, another check, King F5, another check, King E6, checking out. Unfortunately, because the pawn's on E4, there's this move King to D5, check, King C6, and Rook comes back to E8. Now King D5 has to be played, and then the same position reoccurs. So Rook to E1, and now the king will just come back to civilization since it is not cut off anymore, and now Black will start giving checks from the A file. So on the move E5, just checks are going to start. No, this will be a drop. White's king will just be too displaced. So that is, Black's drawing idea. So, of course, now you have to think out a little bit outside of the box. Of course, White would want to play the move E5 at some point. I mean, now he can't, of course, because Black simply just takes it. But if White were to make the move E5, there won't be enough checking space. It's actually a good rule to remember. If there are 3 squares in between the pawn and the rook, as you can see here, there's enough checking space. But if there is less, then there isn't enough. It's also good because the rook on the A file against the E pawn is very good at giving checks against the white king because there are 3 squares in between the king and the pawn, because the king has to go very far away from the pawn to stop the checks, and then the rook can go and play against the pawn, and the king won't have enough time to protect the pawn. That's usually why. That is usually why 3 squares are always very good to have when you're checking the enemy king. Now, since as I said, you got to think a little bit outside of the box. So you have to think, for example, now what is Black's next move? Well, Black, if Black makes a move King H6, for example, then White would play probably King F4. Let's maybe show that. Anyway, if King H6, then King F4, Rook to F8, King E5, Rook E8, and now the move King F6, and on the move Rook takes E4, there's Rook H1 mate. So it's that's why, and on the move King H4 in this position, then White has the move E5, and on the Rook takes E5, and there's this move King F4. So first we got to get this position with Black to move, because Black's in Zugzwang. On the move Rook to E7, there's not enough checking space. So now King F4, Rook F7, King E5, Rook E7, King F5. And on the move Rook E7, there's the move King E6. So White is going to just simply combine mate threats and the idea of just pushing the pawn. So the way how we get the exact same position is this move Rook to G2, King H4, and now Rook to G7. Now, one of the ideas by this move Rook to G7 also is that the king can come to F4. Let's say he gives a check, King E5. He gives another check, King F5. He gives another check, King E6, Rook E8. And then there's the move Rook to E7, which builds the bridge. And then the next move is E5, and White's just easily winning there. So King H5 can be played with some ideas of playing the move King H6. But now Rook back to G1. Now it's Black's move. So as I said, I was going to show this variation. And now White's threat is now to make the move King to D6, because on the move Rook D8 there's the move King E7, and Black can't stop the move E5. On the move Rook E8 there's the move E5. So a move like after King H5, King D6 will be played, and after the check, now checkmate is threatened. And on the move Rook takes E4, there's this checkmate. So that's why Black can go for the move King H4, but now White makes the move E5. And on the move Rook takes E5, then there's the move King F4. Of course, Black can just play King H5 and King F4, and we will eventually run down with the king and pawn and get the Lucina position, which is just totally winning. All right, so this was a very instructive endgame, and it could very well happen in your games. And if you have any other endgames that you would like me to show on my channel, please leave it in the comments. All right, thanks.